Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of al-Qaeda, and a terrorist who's responsible for the murder of thousands of innocent men, women, and children. And so shortly after taking office, I directed Leon Panetta, the director of the CIA, to make the killing or capture of bin Laden the top priority of our war against al-Qaeda, even as we continued our broader efforts to disrupt, dismantle, and defeat his network.
So that was Obama with the latest news of Osama bin Laden being killed. With me I have James Pritchett. Thanks, James, for being here. James is a retired Navy SEAL and would like to share some information about the Navy SEALs that killed Osama bin Laden. So James, I kind of want to talk to you about a little bit about Osama bin Laden and just kind of where he started off. So he was born in 1957 to Mohammed bin Laden, I believe.
That is correct.
He was then born into a really, really wealthy family.
His father was a businessman tycoon.
His father was very in the business with the United States. He got on the plane and would go and do business with the United States.
He had a very large construction company.
Then his father died.
Osama bin Laden's father was killed.
Now I have a few references. Was that in 1967 or 1970?
It was in 1967. He was killed in Saudi Arabia in a plane crash when the American pilot misjudged a landing.
Including his clients and his board and everybody that went with him on those planes. He must have been 10 years old when that happened.
He was around 10, yes.
Do you think that had any effect on why he decided to turn on the U.S.?
Back then, it could possibly affect on why he turned on the U.S., but when Osama bin Laden was 10, I don't think that affected him fully. However, in 1988, his brother was killed here in the United States in a plane crash, which could have possibly turned him against us. Okay.
So his brother is Salim bin Laden, is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
And he took the over the company after his father died. So then after he died, Osama bin Laden took over the company. Is that right?
Yes. After Salam died, Osama bin Laden would have been the leader of the companies.
Now the base in Afghanistan for the Muslims that are joining in opposition to the U.S., that was built the same year that supposedly his brother died. Do you think that had any effect, his brother dying, had that any effect to why he had turned on the U.S.?
His brother dying and his father dying, both in Osama bin Laden's eyes, at the U.S. hand. His father beat with an American pilot, his brother in the United States. That could have finally turned him against America and its allies. The coincidence of al-Qaeda being founded in the same year his brother died also coexists with that story. With his brother dying, he now had control of the company, which gave him all access to funds. After his father had died, he had gained $30 million from inheritance. After his brother had died, he gained another $50 million, but also control of the company.
So in all, he inherited about $80 million, had been involved in Arab volunteers to fight the Soviets, including himself. So he funded a lot of weapons, he funded a lot of military soldiers to come in and fight. But then the US also helped him with that. And he also studied economics and management.
He did, which would soon help him to lead al-Qaeda possibly 12 years down the road. Osama bin Laden creating al-Qaeda against the US and its allies was a form of trying to get the US out of Afghanistan and Saudi Arabia. After the United States helped against the Soviet Union, we did stay and help attempt to reinstate a government that would be better for the common people of Saudi Arabia and Afghanistan. However, Osama bin Laden being a rather wealthy man, that the government could not have helped him in any way, other than possibly getting him more people to work in his company. But later that year, bin Laden family removes him from the company and possibly from the family. Saudi Arabia later, within a year or so, also removes his citizenship from Saudi Arabia. So that could be in response to his Al-Qaeda workings.
It is believed that the first bombing attack involving bin Laden was in 1992, and that was a gold mine hotel in Aden, which 2 people were killed. And that was almost shortly after his brother was killed. Now, after his family expels him from the business, he doesn't inherit any other money, but he was a great political speaker. And so he got the attention of a lot of politics, a lot of people, and the government. And then they revoke his citizenship, and he has nowhere else to go. Now he goes to Afghanistan in 1996, and it takes him kind of a while to actually decide to go to Afghanistan.
At the age of 19, he did study economics and management, which did help him with his political speaking and gaining the attention of those. Being removed by his family from the business and such did have an effect on his wealth accumulation and bringing money into Al-Qaeda. However, through his political speaking, he did gain the respect and became revered by the rich politicians, the rich members of Saudi Arabia.
Right.
And as I stated before, the new U.S. government, which was attempting to make Saudi Arabia and Afghanistan better, was not helping the rich men do what they wished.
Right.
Previously, the rich man ran the country. Now it's a more democratic society, and most rich people do not wish to go to a democratic society. So through his political speaking, he gained the influences of those rich people to help him out.
Right. So he did inherit a little more money with his political speaking. Now, after his citizenship was revoked, he did go to Afghanistan, and that's when the bombing and the suicides and whatnot actually started to take place. Because not only 2 years after the truck bomb in 1998 happened, then they had 1 year before had the 1995 Raz car bombing, and that killed about 5 Americans, injured 60. Is that what got the attention of the FBI and putting Osama bin Laden on the top 10 fugitives list?
I believe the reason Osama bin Laden was put on that list was because he had began targeting American lives. Instead of targeting those around him and trying to remove what he wished gone, he began targeting American citizens who had nothing to do against him, which would then provoke the Americans.
September 11th, the hijacked planes destroy the Twin Towers, killing around 3,000 people. Do you think this had any effect on anybody, or yourself, for a matter of fact, the September 11th bombing?
Yes, the September 11th bombing did have a lot for me. The Osama bin Laden is the reason I decided to join the SEALs. I was actually looking at a professional career in football or chemistry.
Oh, really?
Yes, but after the bombings of Osama bin Laden, I decided to become a SEAL. The September 11th had a huge majority in my life. I lost many family members in the Twin Towers, and the plane crashed through my mother's office at the Pentagon.
How do you think it impacts your expectations of other people?
I think my expectations of people have not changed at all due to Osama bin Laden and his attacks. Osama bin Laden was an individual acting upon his own accord on what he believed was better. These people who did these attacks were following a leader. It shows me that people follow what they believe is right, but it does not change my expectations of people in any sort.
Do you think it's changes your expectations on how people feel about certain things?
It does change how people feel on certain things. I mean, other people's expectations have changed quite a bit. I mean, before they would expect absolutely nothing in a flight. They would expect a nice calm flight, getting to wherever they go. Now they're expecting an hour or 2 hours just in the airport getting through security, another very cautious flight, and they're expecting so much more than what they used to because of what Osama bin Laden has done.
Well, that's all. Thank you, James, for being here.
Thank you.